All right, my friends, this is Steve with Real Progressives. It's tax day, baby. Better have gotten all your filings done, gotten all your papers turned in, get all those nice little, you know, deductions, those little keystrokes removed from your account. And hopefully, a couple of you got a couple keystrokes added in so that maybe you and your family can go on a vacation or something. Or maybe just pay your damn electric bill. What do you think about that? It is tax day, and most people are running around today just celebrating that they're finally through it. It's a really, really painful day. And, quite honestly, today is also my mother and father's would-be their wedding anniversary. So it's a special day for me, even if it's a bad day in so many other ways for taxes. So I want to talk to you all about something that broke recently. We had all been kind of on pins and needles. There was a lot of articles that had come out recently saying that Stephanie Kelton was the former economic advisor to Bernie Sanders, and just really wondering what the heck that was all about. And then we looked at her Twitter feed the other day, and sure enough, she changed it, and it just right there, bam, senior economic advisor, Bernie 2020. And folks, this is not insignificant. Let me explain something to you. I hate this. I hate that every other alternative media source out there, people with 30,000, 40,000, 100,000, 500,000 followers, won't get this information. They'll talk about gossip. They'll talk about non-consequential things. They'll get 1 million likes. But they won't be talking about the important stuff. This is very, very important. Bernie Sanders has doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on Stephanie Kelton being his lead advisor on economics. Now, unless you've been asleep, living under a rock, tripping on Rip Van Winkle, you know that Stephanie Kelton is the leading voice in American politics on modern monetary theory. You know this. This isn't some radical departure. This has been going on for a long time. Stephanie Kelton was the senior economist for the Senate Budget Committee. I believe the term was chief economist for the Democrats for the Senate Budget Committee. She was put there because she was not afraid to kick ass and take names. They needed somebody who could go up there and tell people, hey, it's okay to deficit spend. It's okay to spend on the people. And day in and day out, she's managed to do that. So we got to see Stephanie in action, albeit late in the game, when she was brought on to the Bernie 2016 campaign. But when she comes on to the 2020 campaign, I want to see if you've taken note of some mega changes. Number one, Bernie Sanders is the most vocal advocate for a federal job guarantee out there today. Bernie Sanders is the leading voice within the political sphere for a federal job guarantee. That is core MMT 101. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. The federal job guarantee is key to an efficient economy. Not for any feel-good reasons, although it feels great to know that destitution ends. But it's because it is a superior counter-cyclical, meaning when the economy is bad, people will naturally flow to the job guarantee. And when the economy is good, people can jump off and go elsewhere. But always, always, always having a living wage on command, regardless of whether it's a good economy or a bad economy. These are not temporary jobs. These are not pilot jobs. These are not make-work jobs. These are federally funded, locally administered jobs. And with the Green New Deal, hot and heavy, These jobs serve to help mobilize the United States to address its most pressing concerns, which is indeed climate change. Now, the best part of this, all the rest of the platform that Bernie fought for, from student debt elimination, free college for all, expanded Social Security, paid family and medical leave, and a host of other things such as infrastructure to replace the crumbling apparatus that is our nation. All of that. And the only reason you can have the sack to be able to go that far is because you understand economics. Otherwise, you're tiptoeing around the edges, talking about how your tax dollars are wasted. That's the only way you have the freaking chutzpah to be able to go after a New Deal package like that, is to understand MMT. You can't do it with a weak ass, what about the petrodollar? That shit don't work. That dog don't hunt, and people die for that level of dumb. That's right. So Bernie has brought Stephanie on, and I think this is actually really great. Because, you know, when you think about this, he is truly the only candidate out there for president that has this caliber of support. It's not just whether he's a progressive. It's not just whether he's got a movement behind him. He's got smart people versus dodo birds talking petrodollars on his team. Do you realize the difference, the chasm of difference between smart, I know how to get shit done, economist Stephanie Kelton, versus people going, but what about the petrodollar? Smart, not smart. We got smart on Team Bernie. And that is what makes us so powerful. And see, the last time she was brought into the campaign way late in the game. Way late in the game. So she didn't have a chance to really put her stamp on things the way that we would see it now. What Bernie is doing now looks and smells an awful lot like all the stuff us MMTers have been talking about for years. And not just MMTers. Do you understand? MMTers tend, not all of us, tend to be New Dealers too. Which is really, really good for families in this country. Which is really, really good for millennials who want to shed that student debt. Which is really, really good for all oppressed peoples. Because job guarantees tend to lift all boats, especially those that are most vulnerable. Martin Luther King was down for a job guarantee. More so than any UBI. He was specifically tracking on the job guarantee. Do the homework. It's there for you. Now, tax day is an important day because it gives us an opportunity to talk about what taxes are really for. But I want to say one other thing. Today was another special day. Not only did Bernie Sanders speak to a Fox News crowd, to a standing O, repeatedly talking about freaking important progressive stuff, namely health care. But he also did something else too. Way ahead of the primaries. Oh, Bernie, he released his tax returns, 10 years of them. Now that's a big deal. Why? Because it shuts down the full metal stupid out there talking about Bernie's tax returns. It makes it a non-issue now. No more issue about Bernie's tax returns. Done. Finite. He got it out of the way. You can grouse about it. You can do line item, go parse by parse by parse, whatever you want to do. but he's moving on to New Deal shit. Why does this matter? Because that's what we've been for, period. Whether it was Bernie, whether it was some other candidate, here's the deal. If your candidate doesn't know MMT, your candidate can't deliver. That's not like a question. That's a statement. That's a period. That's an exclamation point. If you don't know MMT, you're going to always be bumping into walls in the dark. You might even be tempted to talk about petrodollars. You might even be tempted to talk about the fractional reserve system that ended in 1934. You might even be thinking about talking about quantity theory of money, which has long since been debunked. Thank you, Milton Friedman. Gone. See you, Stella. Out of here. Get that libertarian trash out the door. Now, folks, this is a really big deal. MMT is the fuel that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is feeling emboldened to put forward a Green New Deal. She's not tiptoeing through the tulips about this stuff. She's not pandering and wondering. She's not like wringing her hands going, gosh, I don't know where we'll get the money. She's not saying, oh, we're going to have to cut spending to find spending to be able to spend. She's smart. She knows we don't have to cut somewhere else to find money when the nation creates money out of thin air. Every time it spends, it creates new money into existence. And every time it taxes, like it's doing today, it's reconciling itself. It purges, it deletes money. It's a circuit. Money spent in, money taxed out. Money spent in, money taxed out. But it doesn't sit there and get reused. The money is brand new the very first time it's spent. Not a single one of those dollars is reused. Every one of them is a fresh keystroke into a deposit and then spent into the private sector. And every single time it returns back, it's deleted because the government neither has dollars nor doesn't have dollars. It creates them every time Congress authorizes spending. And what by chance makes those dollars spent into existence have any value whatsoever? They're just doing it with keystrokes, right? There isn't any value there. It's just a fantasy, man. It's just a social construct. What happens if people lose interest in the dollar? What if they lose faith? Tell that to the tax man. I've lost faith in your tax, dude. We've got a tax avoider here. I'm telling you right now, taxes are what give our currency its value. The government is the monopoly issuer of the currency. It has given agency to banks. It could take that agency away if it wanted to, but it has chosen to make banks a proxy for the government. The problem is, those banks have been deregulated. So we look at this bastardized vision of what a public purpose bank is, and that's what you got. But banks today are public banks. Make no mistake about it. Not one of them operates without a charter from the U.S. government. Not one of them. They cannot create U.S. dollars without permission, so to speak. And they are not creating new dollars. What they're doing is they're creating debt, IOUs, denominated in U.S. dollars. And when those dollars are paid back, they're purged. They zero out. The only thing the bank keeps is the interest. So it's important to understand, even though they keystroke shit out of thin air, just like the government does, the difference is a government spent dollar can be saved by you and me. And once it's taxed, because the dollar is nothing more than a tax credit, it's deleted. So I tell you this because on this tax day, I watched a Green Party presentation earlier by some dude named O'Neill. This guy, man, he may be a great tap dancer. He might even be good at Parcheesi. But he's absolutely brain dead when it comes to understanding federal finance. The Walking Dead had better zombies at economics than this guy. He's sitting there reading from pie charts and talking about 4% of your tax dollars goes here, another 20% goes over here, and he's talking like an authority right there in front of the damn thing. It's like, what's up with that, man? What's up with that? I know I personally went to the Green Party many times. I know L. Randall Wray has personally talked to the Green Party. I know Warren Mosler has personally gone and talked to the Green Party. I know Joe Firestone has done it. I know Fidel Kaboub has done it. I can think of countless. Ellis Winningham, mano a mano to David Cobb. Yeah, you know, Steve, that's a terrible elevator pitch. You guys are pontificating. We talk about green and the dollar. Yeah, we're going to end the fractional reserve system. Fractional reserve system ended in 1934. That same thing, you're going to end it. What are you going to go on a time machine? Go back to 1933? End it then? It's already ended, dude. Game over. There's so much misinformation about the economy today. You got Republicans out there mocking a Green New Deal because progressives can't defend it. They can't defend it. Literally, there ain't enough tax dollars in the world to afford everything we've got to do. Do you understand that? Let me put it to you in war terms. Private. How are we doing with the bombs? Hey, man, we got about 10 grenades. Go ahead. Hey, check that hill. All right. Hey. Time out. What's up, man? Dude, we're out of tax dollars. We don't have any more grenades, man. We got to call Washington to see if we can get more grenades. Well, dude, they're about to blow our freaking head. Hey, guys, can you time out real quick? We've run out of tax dollars. We're fresh out of tax dollars. Come on. Give us a break. Just give us a second, okay? We're going to get some more tax dollars. We'll get some more grenades. We'll come right back to blowing you guys up, okay? Just give it a rest. Time out. Go do something. We'll be right back. It's not how it works. It should be readily obvious to anybody with a brain. It should be readily obvious to everyone that they're going to use this lie against us and make us look like complete and utter fools. Communists, damn it. Crazy people for wanting a Green New Deal. Now, are progressive alternative media outlets that you watch talking about this constantly to help change the vibe so that we win? No, they're not. Why is that? Are they on the take? Do they not know? Do they avoid the subject because they don't know? If they don't know, why are you watching them? This is life. Do you understand that without getting this Green New Deal, we cannot take the kind of action we need to mitigate climate crisis, folks? Your feelings be damned at this point. This understanding of what taxes are for and how the federal government spends couldn't be any more important right now. Your life depends on it. Your children's lives depend on it. And worse, my children's lives depend on you getting it. So you think I've got a little bit of a fire up my ass trying to get you to get this? You're damn right I do. It's sheer laziness at this point that people don't get it. It doesn't mean you got to get it. It just means you got to be in pursuit of it. It means you got to care. If not for the economics, at least for the frickin' environment. At least for health care, care enough about it, right? Huh? Unless you just want your kid carrying $100,000 of student loan to their wedding day. before they get their first job. Look, folks, I interviewed a guy named Alan Nasser who wrote a phenomenal book called The Overripe Economy. The Overripe Economy talks about how much wealth is amassed at the top and how there is nowhere near enough stuff to spend all that money. It's just sitting there. And there's a dearth of money down here at the regular people. And people are going to really be hurting because the stock buybacks and the student debt are going to be ushering in that next recession worse than the last time. So let's mix some climate change, where we've already got refugees and wars as a result of migrants and everything else happening. Environmental, ecological migrants are happening right now. War. Folks, poverty to the extreme. More debt. More unemployment. It's time to wake up. The damn training wheels must come off. Too much is at stake for you to go back to the damn Kardashians. For you to go back to talking about the who said what and what said who shit. Folks, I'm telling you right now, this is near and dear and personal to everybody. From the guys in jail to the people that are freaking dealing in the drug trade, to people trying to graduate high school, to people sitting there trying to graduate college, to people wondering if they're going to have enough money to get from their retirement to their funeral, and everywhere in between, and people not yet born. Every station in life is going to be impacted by this, including the wealthy, ironically. Tax day is an important day because it gives us this opportunity to have a conversation in a way that's meaningful to you. But this is an everyday conversation. This should not be reserved for April 15th. This should be, I wake up in the morning, I drink my coffee, I talk about MMT. I read about MMT. I learn about how the economy works. It's not so much MMT. That's really not the issue. MMT should just be economics. We shouldn't even have to talk about it. But we have to talk about it because there's still alternative media people out there talking about fucking petrodollars. So yeah, we got to talk about MMT until the dodo birds stop saying it. Until they stop talking about the fractional reserve system, we got to keep talking about it. Until they stop talking about the national debt and worrying about savings accounts, we've got to keep talking about it. And we're going to have to keep talking about it and keep talking about it and keep talking about it until Roseanne Barr and stuff like that on TV are not sitting there mocking people saying, well, the problem with all that healthcare stuff is eventually you run out of other people's tax dollars. Until the sitcoms stop doing it, until the friggin' news people stop doing it, until the teachers stop doing it, until we fix this fucking nation, we got to keep doing it. That's the fact, Jack. There's just no substitute for getting this shit right. And we don't have a lot of time for you to figure it out. Now I want to say thank God. Thank God, Bernie's got Stephanie. Because honestly, there's an article by J.D. Alt called The Oppressive Free Lunch. And in that article, J.D. Alt's quoting Paul Ryan as he's talking about this poor kid that all he wants to do is be able to come to school with a paper bag, brown bag lunch, because that means that his mommy loves him and cares about him. Because when you get that school lunch, that free poor kid lunch, That means you're not as loved as much. And J.D. Hawk goes to the trouble of describing and explaining MMT. This is years ago. Instead of progressives learning it, they sat there and talked about petrodollars. And he said the only problem is that progressives are going to sit there and march in place, pumping their knees, pumping their fists, marching straight in line and going nowhere because they can't answer the simple question, how are you going to pay for it? And I would offer up to you that many of the alternative media outlets you go to and frequent on a daily basis can't answer the frickin' question either. Folks, we got 11 years now, and you're listening to Gossip Girl type talk from alternative media. You're listening to James Bond stories, chasing after Q and other nonsense. 11 years, progressives. What are you going to do with your time? Think about it. I'm telling you right now, think about it. Because I can tell you right now, you're not going to have long to regret it. Once it happens, it's going to hit. The water's receded. Next thing is the tidal wave. I hope we have time to mitigate it. Happy Tax Day, everybody. And remember, this revolution is powered by MMT. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.